G'day, gang. Welcome back to Upcoming Attractions. Today, we are talking about Men. The film Men, not just Men in general, directed by Alex Garland, and it's one of the new horror films from A24. With me today is my co-host, Jesse. Jesse, how you doing, mate?
Good, Matty. It's good to be back again, blowing the dust off the old camera equipment and sound equipment. We're rocking and rolling once again on the podcast, so it's been very good.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. For those who don't know, we've been releasing a lot of old previous test episodes for a while. This is one of our first brand new spanking ones. With our new format, we're releasing episodes just about the episode, just about the films we're talking about. So let's get right into it. Men. What were your overall thoughts and opinions on this one?
I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite Alex Garland film. I think I'd reserve that for possibly Annihilation. But I really, really enjoyed it. It's very odd. It got very, very weird. And I was kind of expecting that going into it because it's an A24 movie. But very, very slow build up. Very slow build up. And then I think it was the last 10, 15 minutes, it just throws all this shit at you and you're just like, oh, okay, that just happened.
The last 15 minutes of this movie is fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie, guys, it might be worth watching for the last 15 minutes. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's something you've definitely never seen before.
Yeah.
So if you want something different, that scene is definitely different. Yeah, man, Alex Garland's a great director. For those who don't know, he did Ex Machina. He's done Annihilation.
Yeah.
Both of those films are like Ex Machina is pretty much a perfect film to me. I think it's so good. And Annihilation's also great. He really loves themes on, I feel like, femininity and stuff. And that's really the focus of this film, isn't it?
Yeah. I felt like I saw it with a mate of mine, and after the movie, we were kind of discussing the meanings of certain scenes. There's that one scene out in the front yard. You know the scene I'm talking about. Are we spoiling it, or are we just going to leave it?
Yeah, let's do spoilers. Let's get right into it.
So basically, there's the green man, the grass. I can't remember he's got a specific name. It's in folklore or whatever. He births one person who births another person who births another person, and it's very disgusting and awesome and weird. And I felt defiled. But my mate and I were just kind of discussing the whole meaning behind that ending and the film, and we kind of saw it as her personification of the main character's grief from the death of her husband, but we also saw it as her perception of her fear of men, being around men, her anxiety around men, and I guess it's a metaphor for how sometimes women feel being around unknown men. They might feel threatened or whatever, or so that's how we kind of. It was kind of interesting because you get certain films where you discuss the ending and what it meant, and this is definitely one of those films where you really had to bounce off one another and try and get a figure of what it all meant. And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. I would say though, while I did enjoy the movie, I kind of felt like Alex Garland could have been a bit more concise with the message she was trying to bring across. I kind of get what he was saying, but maybe a little bit more concise. But it's kind of a nitpicky kind of complaint, but
yeah, I agree. I feel like, so this film, it's not like a typical movie where they're trying to have realistic characters and realistic storytelling. It's very poetic and metaphorical. Like every scene is representative of a message, I would say. And it took me a while to get it because I went in not really knowing what it was, and about halfway through the film I'm realizing almost every guy she meets looks very similar.
Yeah.
Turns out they're all played by the same actor, and they're all kind of just representing, from my understanding, how men often blame their problems on women and
which I didn't even know it was the same actor. I'm like, I didn't find it until after the movies. I had no idea. Didn't even.
My girlfriend Kate was exactly the same. She didn't recognize it either.
Because I was looking at the schoolboy who was like who gave me like a really weird, like that's the school kid. I'm like, that school kid looks so fucking weird. Is it like an older man's playing this school kid or whatever? Like, it looks so weird. Couldn't I get a child actor or something? And it didn't even click with me until we finished the film, and I'm looking up on IMDb, and I'm like, oh, Rory Kinnear played every single man in that village. It was just like bizarre. So yeah,
it took me a while to figure it out. It was just like, I think it was the chin. I started realizing, oh, these guys have very similar chins. And it's like, oh, wait, it's the same guy. And I said to my girlfriend sitting next to me, I think it's the same guy. And she's like, don't be dumb. And then it's like, towards the end, she's like, oh, it is the same guy. I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy, right? But I think that ties more into like the themes of the film. Like at the time, it felt weird. But when I sit back and reflect on it, I'm like, oh, I get sort of like, men are all the same or something like that. Or, you know, the perception of it is, it's very, look, I respect the message of the film, but I feel like I like it when movies, when they have a metaphor or a message, I like it if the metaphor or satire or whatever works on two levels. I feel like this only works in one. Like, the metaphor is very surface level, but I think that's by design. I think it's by intention. I think it's like, because it's meant to be like a folk tale or something, like, or a parable that Jesus would tell, you know? It's very literal in the way that it's demonstrating what it's trying to say. And so it's meant to be weird, but A24 love weird. They fucking love weird movies.
That's why I love them. And that's why we love you, A24.
I'll admit, like, I'm not, like, the art house style of horror sometimes isn't for me. This movie, personally, I don't think it's not really for me. Like, I prefer my storytelling to be more
straightforward.
I don't know if straightforward's the word, because I don't mind if a movie is confusing and stuff. Like, Tenet fucks my head from all different sides. But I still love Tenet. I think I just want it to be more traditional in the sense of the way they tell their story. And this one, it's more.
I think you really like the blockbusters. Whereas,
I do, but also, like, I don't mind an artsy film. It's just like, for example, that birthing scene at the end where the guy has a back vagina or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that. In the reality of the story, that didn't happen. I feel like it's like a vision, or it's like a hallucination or something. It's just another way to deliver the message, but it's not realistic. Like, the world had not set up that to be a thing. It was just more of the way, it was like the director that's hammering home the message just in a more visual way. Yeah. And I respect that. There's definitely a place for stuff like that. So I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like, that's not the type of film I usually tend to appreciate, if that makes sense.
I absolutely froth those art house thrillers, like, you know, the metaphorical scenery and symbolism, and I love all that shit, and that's why I love A24 so much, because they do a lot of those art housey kind of indie kind of flicks, and so I love stuff like this. So this was definitely more up my alley compared to most films that are out in the cinemas.
I definitely don't think it's bad. I want to make that clear.
No, it's not bad. I'm
not going to trash this movie, because I really respect what it's doing, and I think what they're doing. It involves a little bit of wit. It's a little clever with what it's doing. I feel like it could have been more clever if they found a way to do the metaphor that worked on, like, where, oh, this actually happened, but it means this, which is something that, like, you know, but I still, like, I really respect what they did there, because it does get you talking about it, right? Like, when you leave the cinema, it's a movie you want to talk about with your friends and stuff. So,
which is what I literally did. Like, my mate and I literally were chatting about it. The ending, we were in the car heading back home, like, oh, what did this mean? Oh, what did that mean? Like, what did you think this meant? Like, and I love shit like that. So
me too. Like, that's half the fun of having a podcast, right? We get to talk about the movies, and, like, we get to theorize and stuff. But, like, for me, it's like, when you, just because it gets you talking, sometimes it makes me think, did they think all this out properly or all the way through? Like, I don't know if it's as deep as it's trying. It's trying to look deep, but I don't know if it's as deep as it implies. And that's when I get frustrated, but maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe that's the beauty of it. I don't know. So yeah. Any other thoughts or comments or opinions on this movie, man?
I'd just say shout out to Jesse Buckley and Rory Kinnear for 2 very good performances. As I said, really enjoyed it. Not the best Alex Garland or A24 movie. Bits slunts, paces, and message could be a little bit clearer. But besides that, very solid. Definitely not a bad film. A very solid, decent movie, especially if you like those art housey, symbolic kind of drama thriller kind of films. So yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for something different or, a little less cookie cutter, or if you're really into movies with like feminist type themes. Like I am. Look, guys, I'm perfectly aware this movie's called Men, and it's 2 men talking about it. The irony is not lost on me. But it's also directed by a man, so do with that with what you. I do remember when it came out, there was some criticism about the perspective and how it felt like it was written by a dude, and it was. But I'm not smart enough to go into that type of detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, if you're into that, if you're looking for something like that, definitely recommend it. Anyways, I think that's it for us today. Upcoming attractions. I hope you enjoyed our chat about Men. If you want to hear us talk about other movies, we've got plenty more on the channel. Be sure to follow us if you want the audio version, iTunes and Spotify. And for all the fun clips out there, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Anyways, that's it for us today. I'm Matt. That's Jesse. And until next time,
see you later.
Laters.